สวัสดีครับ Good day, management, investor, and fellow Thai Union colleague. All the participation online and all participant online. I would like to welcome you all to Thai Union Group conference call on recent change in the GSP eligibility for Thailand to the United States. Today, the executive who are joining us are Dr. Darian McBain, Group Director and Corporate Affairs and Sustainability.
Hello, everyone.
Okay. And Mr. York Irie, the Group CFO, who has been joining us on the call.
Good afternoon.
And next we have Mr. Corey Norton, the Group Counseling for Responsible Sourcing.
Good afternoon.
All right, and also on the line we have Jenny Wang, Vice President Legal and Risk Management. And last, myself, Bess Wayanon, Assistant General Manager in Investor Relations. This event will comprise approximately 40 minutes for the presentation session. And then at the end of the presentation, we will provide a Q&A session of approximately 20 minutes. Please do note that this conference call session will be conducted in English. For any participants who have any inquiry to our management, please type in the question box on the screen and click send. We will raise them during the Q&A session post the presentation. Now, without further ado, I would like to invite Dr. Darian McBain, a Group Director of Corporate Affairs and Sustainability, to start off the briefing. Thank you very much.
Welcome, everyone. So thank you very much for joining us today. There's been news recently about the USTR reforms, particularly with respect to trade barriers. And so we've asked Mr. Corey Norton, who is our responsible sourcing legal counsel and has been following this topic for a number of years for us, to take you through a presentation today to explain what the issue is and what Thai Union are doing about it and what the impacts are to our business. So I'd like to hand over to Corey.
Sure. Sounds good. Then can we begin the slides so everybody can see? We're good? Well, thank you, Dr. Darian, and good afternoon again. Thought it might be helpful to give some background on the generalized system of preferences issue and also responses from Thai Union to further elaborate on the points Darian is raising. By this point, you all may or perhaps may not know that the generalized system of preferences is a U.S. government program that is designed to promote development in developing countries by lowering import tariffs from exports from those countries to stimulate growth. So the overall idea is one to promote growth in developing countries. The U.S. government has a program like this, as do many other countries. Thailand is a beneficiary under the U.S. GSP program, and the value of duties that program waives for Thai exports to the United States is about $4.4 billion US. And that benefit is received across many industries in Thailand. So there's really quite a broad scope of products that benefit. Seafood is one of those products, but as we'll get into this afternoon, you'll see it's a minority beneficiary of the overall GSP benefit the U.S. extends to Thailand. So the scope of Thai seafood exports that receive U.S. GSP benefits is relatively low. And particularly for Thai Union, the significance there is that GSP does not extend any sort of financial benefit to U.S. imports from Thailand of higher value exports like shrimp and tuna. So for the overall relevance to Thai Union, it's important to identify that this is not overall a program that addresses our really main product lines. Part of the GSP process includes an opportunity annually for parties to make a submission to the U.S. government saying that they don't think a country or a product should benefit any longer. And that is a process that's open to companies generally or even entities. And in this case, as is relevant to the recent development, the U.S. labor union, the AFL-CIO, made such a petition to the United States Trade Representative's Office in October of 2013, seeking the USTR to remove Thailand as a GSP beneficiary. The overall nature of the petition that the AFL-CIO submitted was one asserting that Thailand's progress in implementing internationally recognized worker rights was not meeting a schedule that they thought was adequate. So that was the basis for requesting that USTR remove Thailand from the GSP program, and that is what has come to be. That was the outcome that resulted at the end of last week and over this weekend. So that's why we find ourselves that's the background of the current development. This was a petition submitted by the AFL-CIO. And then a last thought on Thai Union monitoring the generalized system of preferences generally. Should say in terms of an overall approach to international trade laws and the impact they might have on our business. Thai Union businesses are quite aware of pending changes to various trade laws that may or may not affect our business. So our teams are aware when there's a potential change announced, and we evaluate if it has an impact on us, and if it were to have an impact, can then decide on the appropriate mitigating actions. In this case, you can see that the petition's been going on for quite a while, and Thai Union has monitored it for quite a while. I'd say more specifically, even as of a year ago, our internal teams assessed what the impact might be and reported that assessment up through our corporate risk management team function. So it's an issue that has been on our radar, that we've been aware of, and that we have assessed. The overall assessment of what has actually happened and what we forecast might have been a possibility for occurring is that the removal of the GSP benefits really has no effect for our core businesses. And the main reason for that, as I sort of alluded to earlier, is that our core businesses, particularly in shrimp and tuna, did not benefit from GSP. And I might say also that the action by the U.S. Trade Representative in removing about a third of the benefit that Thailand received so far, that overall benefit that's being removed addresses seafood really in the minority part. So if you look at the U.S. government's website that lists all the products that will no longer be eligible for GSP, it's about 20 pages long, and roughly 1 page or less of that deals with some various seafood products. But really, the vast bulk of the effect here is on a whole variety of other industries. Maybe a last thought is there is some minimal GSP benefit to Thai Union for a couple of our products, not tuna or shrimp products. But the action that the U.S. government is taking in 6 months will not affect that limited benefit. So said otherwise, the benefit Thai Union has received under the GSP program will continue, this action notwithstanding. So on the whole, I hope this lays out that this new action does not have a material effect on Thai Union's business. So perhaps I will, with that overview, stop there, and we can address questions at the right time.
Before we go there, as a moderator, I would like to lift this back to Dr. Darren. We have put out the release over the weekend that we are not affecting from this GSP eligibility and all these things. Can you share some view of if we are going to be affected out of that, and are we really getting out of this? The GSP eligibility cut pretty much with no material impact.
Thank you. So as Corey mentioned, we've been looking at this issue for over a year now in preparation for when the USTR made a decision. The decision was announced on the 25th of October, and we immediately reviewed the information that we have to look at what the impact is going to be. So many different departments are still looking at how that impact will flow, but from our own assessment, as Corey said, all of our major import products that were sent to the US will not be impacted, and it is not likely that there is going to be an impact on our key exports to the United States. However, we continue to work with the authorities both in Thailand and the United States, as well as our importers into the United States, to ensure that we are fully on top of this issue and have all items covered.
And with that, I mean, we have been talking a lot about the potential change and anticipation of those change. And then I would like to pass this quickly to Jörg on the line to give a broad overview about what we have done so far. I mean, clearly we have heard somewhat from Corey, but I mean, given the index in an intensified front about trade war and concern about the uncertainty about trade environment globally, do we, I mean, as a Thai union, prepare ourselves against all those uncertainty in the global trading arena? I mean, how are we prepare ourselves against that? Can you give us some light on this, Jörg?
Yeah, thanks, Besh. Hello, everybody. Very good explanations by Corey and also by Darian about what we have done and how we are prepared for this and what this is all about. Look, first of all, I totally share the view of the team. We do not see any impact on Thai Union from this. We do not see material revenues or supplies to the U.S. being affected. Such, this is for us business as usual. Governments change their trade arrangements. I think this is a very normal exercise, and in regards to us, it does not really have any material impact on us. I really want to assure everyone we are on top of this. As you heard from Corey and Darian, we look at this since many months and years on how the U.S. government see Thailand, what do they do, and how they want to interact with the Thai imports. A lot of the products that we are producing are absolute household staples in the U.S., and we do not see anyone wanting to impact them. And in this case, we are absolutely not affected. But I think that you are raising a really good point. Of course, the world has become a more complex place. We see the current U.S. administration having resorted to use trade politics to implement their own interests, as a more aggressive stand towards free trade arrangements. So yes, this of course is making things more complex, and how do we react to it? I mean, the most important thing is, well, keep yourself informed. So we do have a very strong team, the legal team that we have, the government affairs team here in Thailand. We have Corey sitting in Washington to be very close to matters. So we do keep ourselves very up to date, very informed about trade arrangements and how they could affect us. Number two, in any of our investment decisions, in any of our supply decisions, the topic of tariffs played a very important role. Would a supply position be impacted by a change of trade policy? So we do assess this, and I think we make rather conservative decisions around where do we produce a product to be shipped to a particular country. So the way to do this effectively is, of course, to have multiple supply locations all over the world. So if we take tuna, for example, we have factories in Thailand, we have factories in Vietnam, in the Seychelles, in Ghana. We have a canning facility in the United States, which helps us circumvent some of to benefit from some of the reduced import duties. So I think we have a very broad footprint. In shrimp, we have now a fully functioning shrimp processing plant in India that is part of our supply network. So we feel we are very well positioned in this arena with regards to tariffs and trade. And coming back to the question of human rights that always comes up and that has been used, I think we are very strong in our answer to human rights support, human rights violations, we have a complete no tolerance policy for anything in our supply chain that would be could be seen as problematic. So yeah, I think that's how we deal with this. At the same time, of course, very dynamic decision making by some governments that are not always easy to understand doesn't make it easier for large companies to manage. So I think there's an extra effort to stay very close to the pulse. As for the GSP issue, I think we're happy to see it doesn't affect us really. So yeah, I think at least this much we can say, and I think we'll work on every new case that could come up. And we all know there are such trade issues basically every day.
All right, and I think that's the presentation for the session today. Now I would like to open for Q&A session in case you have any incoming question. And again, make sure you have any incoming inquiry, please type in the question box and click send. We'll try to respond them as they come in. And for now, I would like to move on to the first question on the list that we have been collected so far. On the number one, there has been, give me one second. All right. This is going to Darren first. There is a claim that the GSP revocation is rescinding. Its action is due to the human rights issue in Thailand. How have you managed? How have we, as a Thai union, managed this issue so far? And how do you think Thailand human condition in general has been progressing until today?
Thank you, Khun Betts. So Thai Union obviously takes this issue very seriously. Safe and legal labour is one of the key pillars of our sustainability strategy, Sea Change. We've been recognised for our leadership on this topic a number of times, most recently by an organisation in Australia who awarded us a Freedom Award for our work on responsible recruitment. But taking a larger scale look, if you look at how the United States rates Thailand in terms of human rights, it's actually improved year on year. So when the AFL-CIO first lodged this issue with the USTR, it was in 2013. At that time, Thailand was on the Tier 2 watch list of the US Trafficking in Persons report. Now, for those who don't know the US TIP report, as it's called, it comes out annually, and it's an assessment that the US State Department does of how a country is working to stop human trafficking and the indicators of forced labor. There are 3 tiers. The lowest is Tier 3, so that's the worst. And then there's the Tier 2 watch list, then Tier 2, and Tier 1 is the top. So in 2013, Thailand was on the Tier 2 watch list. And then in 2014, recognition of some of the issues that were happening in Thailand, Thailand was downgraded to Tier 3. But then I'm happy to say in 2016, that Thailand was upgraded to the Tier 2 watch list, and in 2018 upgraded to Tier 2. So the US government has recognized the significant progress that the Thai government has made on issues relating to human rights.
Right. It seems like everything is still on track.
Everything is on track. There are always more things that we can do, but as the Royal Thai government accepts a number of ILO, International Labour Organization conventions, and works within its own boundaries, but also across the ASEAN region, you see a real leadership position that Thailand is taking on human rights.
All right, cool. The next question coming in is that what is the export sales from Thailand to the US? Okay, this one I'll just take this off my own. I mean, we have Khun Ludovic Gagne, head of group accounting and controlling, with us today as well, and we have figured out this number together. I mean, in year 2018, we export approximately about 19 billion Thai baht of sales that we are export from Thailand to the US during year 2018. Of that amount, the largest chunk of it is tuna-related product, which constitute about 40% of the said amount. Shrimp account for about 31% of the said amount, and pet care which contribute about 22% of the said amount. The rest belong to other smaller product categories such as other seafood, value-added, ready-to-eat product. Okay, and for the next question, what are the TU products that are currently benefiting from the GSP? Corey, can you shed some light on this?
Sure. I think there are two products to highlight. One is a rice-based ready-to-eat food, and the other is a shrimp-based pot sticker food as well. So there aren't many examples to cover.
All right. Okay. I understand that those account for very little, and some of those products are not even being revoked out of the GSP list this time around.
That's correct. The GSP benefit, again, meaning a lower import duty for those products, will continue. The removal of that benefit was not part of last week's action.
All right. All right. Okay. So therefore, I mean, I just like to summarize this one last time. How big actually is the impact from this GSP cancellation? I mean, Darren, can you provide us some light on this?
At this point, we don't foresee any impact. But as I said, we're still working with the authorities, both in the United States and in Thailand, to ensure that our initial assessment is correct, but we don't foresee an impact.
Okay, very good, very good. So far, we have received the additional question from the floor. Apart from TU financial impact, do you foresee any impact for the industry-wide, i.e. impact? I understand that we cannot comment on our competitor due to lack of knowledge about each and every one has been doing. But what is your view on the industry-wide impact from this GSP cutting? I mean, how does this affect the Thailand seafood export competency? Any view?
Well, I'd say I think fairly little is as an industry overall. For the company, we've heard today, but as we were talking earlier, if you go again and look at the scope of products being exported from Thailand that will no longer receive GSP benefit when they're imported to the United States, the seafood products in that grouping are, I'll say, roughly just about a page long as opposed to 19 other pages. So I think other industries will be where the effect is felt, but really not primarily or in significant way for the seafood exporting industry.
All right. All right.
Just to emphasize that the actual list of products impacted that is issued by the USTR is 20 pages long, and seafood items are only a few of those items. So the impact is across a broad range of industries in Thailand. We can't comment on the impact for all of those, but we do know for seafood, it's a relatively minimal impact.
All right. All right. All right. That is good. I think we have exhausted the list of questions regarding the GSP. However, there has been some incoming question about the other contents. Can you clarify about the second question โวยไปตรงสุดท้ายเลยคำถามใหม่
See what it is again?
ลงมาสุดเลย Okay. From USTR website, the target GSP list include the code 16041450, which is tuna and skipjack not in airtight condition. I mean, do we subject to this product category in our export list?
That is not so I assume we're talking about the list of goods that will be affected. That is not a category that describes our products. And one for people who are familiar working with these are called the harmonized tariff schedule numbers. They become very precise. So each number can refer to a very specific set of characteristics for a product. So that this one in particular, getting at the air tightness of containers, et cetera, is a unique product that's meant to be covered, but that's not our product. No.
One note we have received from our operating unit is that the canned tuna is currently subject to 12.5% tariff and therefore are not currently subject to are not benefiting from GSP.
That's correct.
Thank you very much. Okay. And just to add color on that, the shrimp are currently subject to about 5% duty. and that is currently not under the GSP benefits.
That's also correct.
Thank you very much for confirming. Okay, and I would say that how about we just move on? There has been some additional question about outside of the GSP, but since we have the executive here attending us, Kun Yok Kap, there has been some question about there has been recently news about the U.S. antitrust case. Can we get some update on the progress of the case?
Look, I think the updates that people refer to are mainly around criminal proceedings against one executive in the industry, and that one executive is the previous CEO of Bumblebee. Now, as you all know, we have to whistleblower in this case. So there's a lot of evidence that comes from what we have provided to the Department of Justice, to the authorities. There are a lot of witnesses that are available from Thai Union, and we've made every witness available that the DOJ wanted. Now, I really don't, first of all, I don't feel comfortable, and I don't want to share anything about the criminal lawsuit, the criminal proceeding against an American person. I really don't want to comment on it. You can read everything in Undercurrent. They're very accurate in what they're writing. So for us, this is not affecting us at all. We're just someone who provides documents. We did provide documents for the DOJ, and we give access to witnesses that the DOJ wants us to send. That's all I know about it. That's all you can read in Undercurrent. And if there's one witness more or less coming from us to this criminal proceeding against Mr. Lechevsky, well, that has nothing to do with Thai Union or with PC. That's just how the prosecutor is planning his prosecution and how the defense for the individual is managing their defense. It doesn't actually have an effect on us. We're the applicant. We have a signed document, a signed agreement with the Department of Justice that puts us as the number one a party in this to receive leniency. We will not be prosecuted. We will not pay a criminal fine, and none of our employees will go to jail as long as we fully comply and support the DOJ in their prosecution of anyone else who did bad things in the industry. Now, as it comes to the civil litigation, well, there we've added to. We set aside additional monies. I think a quarter ago. We are using this money as we speak. We're negotiating with plaintiffs. We have been able to settle with another 3 or 4 plaintiffs, and I can only repeat this. We are absolutely reasonable in negotiating and agreeing with plaintiffs to cover any damage that we may have caused to these plaintiffs. We've settled with the consumer class. We've settled with many others. We've settled with Walmart. We've settled with many customers. Like now, 85% of our volume is settled. And we settle with everyone who is reasonable and who wants to engage with us on equal and fair terms. And that is reflective of what we've settled with everybody else. And we're continuing to do this, and we'll plow our way through. There are some out there who think they can make an additional buck, who can shake us down, who can try to abuse us, who try to say bad things. Well, we can't make people stop saying bad things where it's not true. We can't stop people from lying. We can't stop people from doing wrong things. But what we can do is we can engage with reasonable counterparties. We want to have reasonable settlements, and we will continue doing that. 85% done. We make progress every day. There are one or two that will be very difficult to settle, but I'm confident that we will get through this. So all those recent hoo-ha, nothing will affect us more than what we've shared with you before. So there's nothing new. This is all about the civil case against the criminal case against an individual who allegedly had very bad behavior in the market media. Jenny's on the line, our new legal counsel in the U.S. Jenny, anything else from you?
Thanks, Jörg. Yes, I mean, as the company's new VP of Legal in Thailand's Thai Union's North America operations, I just want to assure everybody that, you know, we remain leading the industry in trying to get past this, resolve it, and continue to be a good partner to all our customers and everybody, and to make them whole. As Jörg says, you know, we continue to negotiate on the civil side and continue to cooperate on the one criminal case that's going on with the government and the former CEO of Bumblebee. And the choice of the government and who they want to testify is a strategy that's dictated by the government, the prosecution, and not by Chicken of the Sea. And so we remain at their disposal for who they want to use as a witness, as well as any information they need from us. And we have been forthcoming, and nothing has changed in our cooperation with the government.
Right. So I think that has addressed our concern, the market concern about the U.S. legal cases. There has actually been a few more questions coming in regarding GSP here. There are a few more questions here. When we say that the core business are not affected, does that mean there are some non-core business that are currently being subject to GSP? Is there any, and how big is those amount that could be potentially impacted by GSP?
Sure, I'm happy to take that one, and I should be, I suppose, more direct that we do not see any example where a Thai Union export will lose its GSP benefit. So I should make that more clear. So there's not an example of the core business being immune, but some other part being affected. We do not have a negative effect.
Okay. And for regarding the big two items regarding tuna and shrimp, can you give us some more background why GSP cut this time does not affect tuna nor shrimp?
Well, for the most part, the reason is that the GSP program overall did not really extend benefits to those categories in a significant way, or certainly with respect to our products in those categories. So there wasn't a benefit in the first instance that could be harmed or withdrawn as other products experienced just now.
Oh, so we already paid the normal tariff rate.
Correct.
Fantastic. Okay. So therefore, I mean, with this cut coming from the initial list, do we expect any further impact, or in terms of any tax privilege of any kind that could be withdrawn outside from the current list, and how would that bring any effect on us?
Right. Well, maybe I can respond just first directly to where this law fits with respect to other laws, but perhaps if there's larger anticipations. But no, the GSP here, the action taken affects products that are subject to GSP. So it is I would say limited and tailored in nature, and the action taken does not affect or have bearing on other regulatory or other aspects of international trade.
This one come a bit more specific. Can you confirm if tuna loin is currently not enjoying the GSP benefit?
The tuna loin products that we export to the United States, that's correct, does not enjoy the GSP benefit.
Do not have the GSP benefit from the
Correct.
get-go. Fantastic. Okay. From the next, I think this one goes more to Darian. The next review of human in trafficking report, the TIP report in the middle of year 2020, do you see any prospect of downgrade for Thailand in general? Please go back to the first question. In your perception, do you think we kind of go backward, or we think we as a country and as a company are making progress toward the improve in terms of the labor condition?
Thailand as a country is making progress, and that progress is being recognized internationally. So by the time the next TIP report comes out, which will be most likely June 2020, we should have the National Action Plan for Human Rights in place for Thailand, which will be one of the first in this region. Many different programs have been implemented in the seafood sector, but also in other sectors to ensure worker rights are protected. And therefore, I don't foresee that there would be a downgrade for Thailand, and we should continue to make progress. As a company, as Thai Union, we take human rights very seriously and have put worker voice at the heart of our operations. We continue to do a number of activities that support worker rights and worker voice, and we will continue to lead in this area of human rights.
Cool. This has been kind of ties up between the last two questions, that since Thailand has been improving, and what was the trigger cause of the recent withdrawal of GSP? I believe that this question has been answered here and there, but can you just recite it again? Because part of this GSP withdrawal are as a result resulted from the claim that we have been as a result from the human rights issue. Why do we still trigger this withdrawal of GSP?
Yeah, I can offer some on that. I think the starting point is to remember that this review has been going on since 2013. So it's been a long process of engagement between the United States government and Thailand's government. And Dr. Darian has mentioned how much of the progress has been acknowledged. I would say the U.S. government's action now, there is a notice announcing the action, but does not provide that many details on its reasoning. The one detail about the Thai practices it highlights deals with just the ability to unionize generally. And so the announcement suggests that ongoing progress in the direction of unionization may be what was behind U.S. government action, but we are short on details on the basis and the reason why they acted now.
Maybe just to add some further detail for Thai Union specifically, in Thailand we've established worker welfare committees which act in place of union but allow workers to raise their voice. And so this is one of the ways in which you make sure that worker rights are protected, as well as many other programs such as our responsible recruitment program, and ensuring that we have a number of mechanisms in place that allows workers to raise concerns.
Mm-hmm. And there has been a question on the line asking to recite this again, but please confirm with me, Corey. The canned tuna is currently subject to tariff of 12.5%. Canned tuna?
Correct. It's subject to duty and does not, I'm not sure if this is the follow-up, but does not receive GSP benefit. And
so as shrimp, which is currently subject to 5% import duty.
Right, and same situation there.
And not being subjected to any GSP benefit.
Correct.
Fantastic. This is a long shot question, and I don't think we all have any answer to this. But is it possible for the U.S. to raise canned tuna tariff any further?
I would say on the trade front, there's not anything that one anticipates at the moment. See that happening.
Right. I think we have been exhausted of our list of questions. The rest would be going one round in others, so pretty redundant there. So I would like to, again, should you have any further question, that will be the good time to raise it up. In the meanwhile, I would give the final moment of this presentation back to Darian. If you have any closing remark on this, and then we'll follow on by Kun York, please.
Okay. Well, thank you everyone for joining this webinar today. I think what we want to convey to you is that Thai Union takes these issues very seriously, and we've been monitoring the issues for a number of years and will continue to do so. We dedicate our resources internally to making sure we're on top of the trade barriers and trade benefits that are impacting Thai Union's business globally, not just with the United States. And this was one of the many programs that we monitor. And so when issues come up, as they did on the 25th of October when the USTR announced their release, we're actually prepared to handle it. So for this particular case, we do not foresee any impact on Thai Union business, and will continue to monitor closely and take action as required.
Kun York, is there any closing remark that you'd like to make to the public, please?
Yeah, no, thanks for the call, and thanks to everyone for joining. I think what the team demonstrated is that we're fully on top of the situation. We're monitoring this day by day. We're not affected in any material shape or form by this recent policy change in the United States. But what I do want to remind people, and there was one question, can the U.S. raise tariffs on canned tuna? Yes, of course they can. And I think everyone here on the call is very well aware that trade policies of a country can change. You see in the trade war between the United States and China, and people start this and they retaliate and they retaliate again, and at the end nobody knows who started this. Do we hope this happens? Absolutely not. We hope this won't happen. We're absolutely in favor of free trade, reduced tariffs. We do not see anything that could affect our tuna business at this stage. The U.S. is in demand of tuna very, very, very heavily. There are no real other supplies than from countries like Thailand or others. So we don't think anything will happen there. But we have to be nimble and we have to stay on top of this. And I think with the team we have here, people in Washington, people in the U.S., people in Europe on the legal front and sustainability front, I think we're very much on top of this. And that's why we feel so comfortable to say, look, there's no financial impact in any material way on us from this activity. That's all from us.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Kun York. And from that note, I would like to conclude this live webcast for Thai Union Group conference call on the recent change in the GSP eligibility of Thailand to the United States today. Thank you very much for your kind attention, your time, and your interest in participating into this call. Should you have any further inquiry, please feel free to contact our department anytime during our office hours. I wish you all you have a good day, and thank you very much. สวัสดีครับ